One current Eagle is under fire with some rumors involving him and his baby mama. We'll talk about who that is, plus the latest schedule leaks and why Birds fans should be excited about the latest involving Jalen Hurts and offensive coordinator Sean Mannion. Without wasting any more time, let's dive right into it. What's up, y'all, and welcome to 2nd and 15, a Philadelphia Eagles fan podcast powered by Olde City Sports Network, the best network for all your Philadelphia sports needs. This is your host, Michael Roscoe. I hope everyone's had a great week so far. I just got back from Philadelphia several days ago as my family and I participated in the Eagles Autism Challenge. It was a great time. I got to get a picture with the Philly sports guy, for those who know who that is. He's a great guy, by the way. Super nice to my family. So shout out to you, Philly sports guy. Overall, it was an amazing event that raised over $16 million and counting, because fundraising can still happen, I believe, until the end of the month, for the autism community, specifically through the Eagles Autism Foundation, which of course gives 100% of their proceeds back to the community for autism research, resources, advocacy, and more. I absolutely love this event, and I'm looking forward to going to it again sometime in the future. Anyway, now let's get to our episode with some Eagles news. Starting off, the Philadelphia Eagles organization reported on Wednesday the passing of All-Pro tight end and former Eagle Charlie Young at the age of 75. Young was drafted 6th overall in the 1973 NFL Draft by the Eagles, where he earned Pro Bowl nominations in each of his first 3 years in the league and accumulated almost 2,600 receiving yards and 12 touchdowns in his time with the Eagles before spending his remaining 9 years in the league after that, bouncing around NFC West teams. In other Eagles news, there is some baby mama drama. You might be wondering, why the fuck is your episode called this, and who could this be about? Well, I'm about to tell you. So one Eagles player has been the subject of some rumors according to his ex-girlfriend, Alyssa Okada, and that player is offensive lineman Fred Johnson. Okada took to social media claiming that the swing tackle kicked her out of their house while she's 8 months pregnant with their child to pursue other women on the dating app Hinge. And all of this is according to the New York Post. Okada made at least 2 or 3 videos, I believe, regarding this whole situation, talking about the challenges this incident has brought to her and how it's difficult when you love someone you think you know completely until they take off a mask and show their true colors. Johnson took to Instagram, making a generic philosophical post about, quote, mastering emotions and other spreading rumors without directly talking about this scenario. Now, these situations are always tricky because, it's like high school drama to a point. It's very he said, she said type of shit. Personally, I've met Fred Johnson in person. He's a very nice, very humble guy, but that doesn't necessarily mean that he isn't capable of imperfections and or engaging in actions that can compromise a relationship. Now, I'm not confirming that he actually did or did not do any of these things that Okada stated in any of her videos, but hopefully these are just rumors, because if he did actually kick out his girlfriend while she is pregnant with their daughter to try and fuck other women over Hinge, that's definitely not cool. It's not a good look, or it's definitely not a good representation of how a future father should act. But again, hopefully these are all just rumors that were drawn about because they are in an argument or something like that. Next topic to talk about is the Jalen Hurts-Sean Mannion partnership. So, despite what Hurts haters want to say, things are looking good for him and this new Eagles offense under Sean Mannion. According to ESPN's Jeremy Fowler, he stated, quote, "I'm hearing the two have hit it off, and Jalen Hurts likes how Sean Mannion structures the offense. It's going to be more under center for Jalen Hurts, more play action than he has done in the past. And the article goes to talk about other positive attributes about their newfound relationship. But now remember, this is the same reporter who, along with another individual, reported the insider info about Jalen Hurts being uncoachable and other difficulties surrounding Hurts and the Eagles. Basically, just a bunch of random negative bullshit about Jalen Hurts that had no credible evidence whatsoever. But if y'all remember, that article was like right before the Diane Rossini, Mike Vrabel love fiasco got aired out to the public. Now, I love that Hurts is being spoken about in a positive light, because if you watch other sports analysts or just go on social media in general, you know that does not happen very often, and that these positive thoughts or these positive comments act as rebuttals against the statements from that previous ESPN article, even though there's still some concerns about Jalen's performance against cover zero. But that is something that Sean Mannion and new pass game coordinator Josh Grizzard are actively working on. What I like about this article of this new Hurts-Mannion relationship is that from a broad standpoint, the feelings about Mannion from like the public opinion and the organization and the offensive player, those feelings appear to be consistent from the date in which he was hired, because I know back then people were talking about they were very excited for this hire, that he's a likable person, that he's straightforward, that he's ready to work. And now he's already building these positive relationships with QB1 as well as the rest of the offense. And overall, since then, leading up to now, people just have a good feeling about this offense. And I think that's something that fans, including myself, are, or at least should be excited for, which is that there's already a level of consistency that's having positive impacts before this season even begins, especially after the horrible year that we had under Kevin Patullo. What I also find pretty funny after this segment came out is that now with the Diana Rossini and Mike Vrabel booty clapping bullshit all out in the open, we haven't seen similar negative things about Jalen Hurts or the Eagles organization for that matter, like they did in that previous article with the insider info. We've seen positive examples like this story about Hurts and Mannion hitting it off. Isn't it funny that when you don't have a toxic inside reporter fucking up things for the Eagles organization because she hates her Eagles fan husband and is getting clapped by the head coach of a team actively trying to poach your number one receiver away? The negative stories about Hurts, A.J. Brown, even the Eagles organization as a whole, they're just seeming to fade away, or at the very least, not being so much in the limelight. Very, very interesting. But overall, I'm glad that there's still positive outlooks on Hurts in this new Sean Mannion offense, and I really just can't wait to see it in action. All right, last topic we'll talk about for this week is some schedule leaks. So various leaks of the 2026 NFL schedule have been circulating around TV, social media, before the full schedule release occurs later today, I believe. And one of those games that got leaked early was the Eagles game versus the Cowboys on Thanksgiving, which will occur in Week 12. The last time the Eagles played on Thanksgiving was 12 years ago in Dallas. If the Cowboys have any advantage with this game, it's only that they are used to playing on Thanksgiving. I think they play on Thanksgiving like every single year. However, the Birds have the performance history on their side, with the Birds taking the last Thanksgiving matchup with a score of 33-10. Also, the time before that, the Birds shut out the Cowboys 27-0 in, I think it was like in the late 80s when they played Thanksgiving again in Dallas. Hopefully for the Birds, history repeats itself again. Additionally, the Birds are set to play the Jacksonville Jaguars in London, England during Week 5, giving the Birds their first international game since the 2024 season, where they got the dub over Green Bay in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Now, normally these international games can result in a team losing a home game when they go abroad. However, that is not the case for the Birds this year, as this week would have been an away game for them anyway. The only disadvantage of these games, for fans at least, is of course the time differences. Because of that, This game is going to be at 9:30 in the morning Eastern time, which means for our Eagles fan friends over on the West Coast, they got to get up at the crack of dawn to watch this game. However, true Eagles fans are going to get up no matter what time in the world it is to watch the Birds play. After all the other remaining games are released later today, we'll talk about them in our next episode. All right, y'all, that is it for this week's episode. Thank you all for joining us. Don't forget to like, subscribe, or follow on YouTube, X, Instagram, Facebook, and TikTok by searching at Second and 15 or by the full name Second and 15, a Philadelphia Eagles fan podcast. You can also find the audio for each and every single episode releasing Thursday mornings on Spotify, Apple Podcasts, Amazon Music, Player FM, or wherever you get your podcasts, with the video uploading to YouTube later that same day. Once again, thanks y'all for joining in. This is Second and 15, a Philadelphia Eagles fan podcast powered by Olde City Sports Network. We will see you all next week. Don't forget to stay fly like an eagle, and as always, go Birds!